We trust our doctors. We're vulnerable in their offices, believing they'll give us the care that we need.
But this week, we learned a local physician allegedly treated his clinic more like a bank. He's accused of collecting money at the expense of his patients. Tonight, one of those patients is speaking out to Fox 2 about the unnecessary treatment she endured, turning her life upside down. Fox News' Jessica Dupnack live with this story. Tell us what happened here, Jessica.
Taryn and Roop, we have been following this story. We learned this week that the doctor was accused of overprescribing painkillers. Well, we learned tonight he's accused of overprescribing other medications, too. We interviewed a local woman who says that he was treating her, medicating her for seizures. About 6 months later, when she went to seek a second opinion, those doctors said she never had any seizures at all.
How many times did he ruin somebody's life doing this?
This week, thousands of patients like Elizabeth Dew learned her former neurologist got arrested.
What was your reaction?
I just started crying.
This 78-year-old with a clinic in Taylor accused of overprescribing medication, painkillers, insurance fraud, and now looked at for sexual misconduct with his patients, possibly in this bizarre bedroom at his clinic. Elizabeth was referred to the doctor in 2018 after having an episode similar to a fainting spell. She says he diagnosed her with seizures after one test and put her on medicine. She immediately started to have severe side effects from the meds.
I was like trapped in my body and I couldn't get out.
It resulted in seeing the doctor every couple weeks for 6 months.
I would go and say, I can't be on this. I'm like having a bad reaction to it. And so he had prescribed me something else. It was like every 2 weeks it was something else.
Unable to drive, couldn't work.
I almost lost everything I owned. I had to sell my car, almost lost my apartment. I mean, I was dead broke.
In an almost immobile state from the medication.
My grandkids were like, what's wrong with Nana? And that broke my heart.
Her family urged a second opinion, which she got from the Mayo Clinic. Doctors there said she is not having seizures and never has had one.
It was all the medicine that was causing it.
Although Elizabeth was not prescribed painkillers, she says she witnessed them being doled out and sold, which tracks with what Taylor police say.
People were coming up here and getting their pain pills and then selling them right there, but they weren't even leaving the parking lot.
Seems like every day we learn something new about this case. The case even took a turn for investigators at Taylor Police who are heading up this investigation. Once it went public earlier this week, their phones started ringing off the hook. As of right now, there are 12 former patients who are accusing the doctor of sexual misconduct. We're talking 12 potential victims, so possibly even more charges than originally thought. We will, of course, stay on top of this story. Reporting live, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
My goodness, Jessica, it just shows how many layers are to this case. But going back to the prescription and the false diagnosis, I mean, I guess it just shows you have to be your own advocate. I mean, she wasn't even having seizures and she was getting prescribed this medication. Could there be others? It sounds like there could be.
Absolutely. And the worst part was she said he made her look like a fool. She put all of her trust in this doctor. We're talking about a neurologist, you know, the best of the best. She put her trust in this man and she was kicking herself. She said, I wish I would have got a second opinion later. But thankfully, she went to the Mayo Clinic where they sorted it all out.
Good. And hopefully she's doing much better now. Jessica, thank you for the update.
Well, tragedy tonight in Howell. A young boy is dead after a tree toppled over at the Howell Nature Center.
Fox News' Dave Kinchin has the latest on the investigation.
Shock and strong emotions at the Howell Nature Center in Livingston County Thursday after police say a tree fell on a 12-year-old boy, prompting medics to airlift him to Mott Children's Hospital in Ann Arbor, where he died.
What a tragedy. I truly have no words.
Sheriff Mike Murphy says the boy was with a group of kids from Our Lady of Victory Catholic School in Northville who were on an overnight field trip to the Nature Center. We're told the kids were gathered around learning how to make a fire when they heard trouble from above.
And they started hearing some noise, some crackling, like a tree was going to fall, and everybody took off running.
The 12-year-old did not make it out in time and suffered head injuries when the tree came down. As for why it fell, that's not clear just yet.
There was no work being done. We didn't have any high winds or anything for, whatever reason. It just decided that, it was time to it was time to tip over.
A representative from the Howell Nature Center called it an accident and pledged support for the boy's family.
Our thoughts are with the student, the family, the school, and the staff, and that's all the information is available right now.
Well, the Nature Center says they will be closed tomorrow while their team works with investigators to try to figure out how this happened. There is a source saying that this tree, a 20-foot tree, may have had a rotted out trunk, but they're working to confirm exactly what this cause may have been. We do know now this was before the community found out the confirmed news that the child had passed away from their injuries. The school was working to have counselors talk with the students who witnessed this horrible thing, and that field trip was canceled. We imagine that there will certainly be grief counselors on hand now that they're processing this terrible news. In Northville, Dave Kinchin on The Edge.
Hurricane Helene is slamming Florida's Gulf Coast. To give you an idea of the scope of this massive storm, check out a view from space. Helene is a Category 4 hurricane with winds of more than 130 miles per hour. Even without making landfall already, it's already causing somewhat of a disruption. Somehow, cars were able to cross bridges in Tampa earlier today, even with waves crashing into the road. The high winds really shaking the camera back and forth. All bridges across Tampa Bay are now closed as the hurricane barrels through. Weather Authority Rich Luterman is closely watching the storm. And Rich, the big question is, has it made landfall just yet?
Not officially, but it's right there on the shoreline up here in the Big Bend area of Florida, south of Tallahassee. But look at that. Top winds 140 miles per hour. That makes it a Category 4 hurricane. You can see the center of the circulation just about on the coast right now. Very heavy rainfall, gusty winds, some gusts better than 100 miles per hour, out about 50 miles. So it's not just where the eye comes ashore. It's a larger radius of trouble. And you can see a Category 4 hurricane, surge, wind, rain, flood, all of it in play. Around here, beautiful afternoon. We had the veil of high clouds, but the sun at times came through, and we did stay dry today. 73, the official high at Metro Airport. You can see the averages. There are the records, 93 and 30. Nothing like that in our forecast. A lot of us right now are between 55 and 65. These numbers will fall off a bit more. Notice the direction of the breeze out there. Pretty light from the north and east. But tomorrow, after we get beyond sunrise, that breeze will pick up from the north and east, and it's going to stick around all day Friday. In some way, that is the outer effects of Hurricane Helene. 70 degrees in Columbus. There's 51 cooler degrees in Pellston, 69 Chicago. High pressure keeps us dry tonight and most of the day Friday, but there is that circulation with the remnants of Helene, and you can see some of those showers will creep up into our region for Friday evening into the daytime hours of Saturday. For the rest of tonight, it is quiet, cool out there. We're down to 61. Tomorrow is not a bad day. Cloudy once again. There'll be a breeze around all day. Looks like the better chance for some wet weather will be mid to late evening. And then check out the 7-day forecast. Football Saturday, we'll be dodging a couple of showers, perhaps into Sunday and Monday as well. How about a full check starting at 4 a.m.?
Wow, that was a close one. A suspect nearly makes a fatal mistake when he decides to run from police on a busy interstate. Dearborn PD sharing this body cam video with us. On Tuesday, officers pulling over a pickup truck on I-94. The driver did not have a license. He had warrants out for his arrest, and he was currently on parole. During a body frisk, the man took off and nearly gets hit by passing vehicles a couple of times. The suspect tried hiding in some dense brush, but police found him by using a drone. Police also found a weapon in the convicted felon's vehicle. Well, tonight we have some answers in the disappearance of 13-year-old Neziah Harris, but they are disturbing.
A man who has children with a Detroit girl's aunt is now charged with Neziah's murder, even though her body has never been found.
Investigators discovered Jarvis Butts started grooming the girl back in September of 2022, and that she was pregnant with his child when she went missing in January of this year.
You look at that face, and you do not see the horrors that she had gone through in her short life. The exploitation, the molestations, the sexual abuse, and the pregnancy that she was concealing. There's no evidence of anyone else being the father of that child, other than the defendant himself who we charged today, and he knew she was pregnant. We know that he was also searching for ways to abort the baby.
We suspected him from the beginning, considering his background and things like that that we've heard about him.
And I would like to see charges being brought against those that knew, that were affiliated with him and knowing, and that allowed him to be around the children, knowing he wasn't supposed to be.
And the allegations of this just make you sick. The 41-year-old suspect is charged with first-degree premeditated murder and sex crimes involving a minor. Isaiah's family recently suffered yet another tragedy. The teen's father, who was active in the search for his daughter, died this summer from heart disease.
A Detroit gas station clerk who locked the door before an angry customer shot 3 other customers will not face charges after all. The Michigan Court of Appeals threw out his manslaughter charge, saying it doesn't fit. Al-Hassan Ayash was working behind protective glass in the May of last year when police say Samuel McRae threatened to leave without paying. So the clerk locked the door and the suspect started shooting, killing one of the innocent bystanders. Prosecutors argued that Ayash's actions make him criminally responsible, but the court ruled the shooting was not reasonably foreseeable. Meanwhile, the suspected shooter will stand trial next month. A reminder for parents to keep a close eye on your kids.
A little girl is safe at home tonight after she wandered onto a busy road in Macomb Township. Witnesses tell us the toddler walked into Tilsch by 21 Mile when a Good Samaritan sprang into action. He blocked the roadway with his truck to rescue the girl. Another woman helped bring the girl back home, where the family was beyond grateful and, as you could well imagine, shocked.
Apparently that day was the first time this little girl learned how to open the door. And I'm not going to blame those parents. I have my baby is 28, but I can tell you, you cannot predict what is actually going to happen.
That Good Samaritan says this could have ended a lot worse had it not been for all the people who stopped to help.